I can see further that way.
I got my contacts in, but
Welcome everybody to Jtwes Monday Night Live again. Thank you all for being here. I was just discussing with Lena. I was looking at the comments there. I said it looks like that one of them had done got back on top there on the comments.
let me see, because mine's still playing a commercial.
Oh, yours is still playing a commercial?
Yeah, Jason McDonald is first. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Jason
He's
was
back
first.
on top.
Back on top.
He wasn't beat out this
But Farm
today.
Boy 59 said he got the first thumbs up. So
Yeah.
And I see that Stan has an anniversary today. If I'm reading it right, that would be a second lieutenant, I think.
I think so.
His anniversary for second lieutenant today.
2LT.
That's pretty good.
Happy anniversary, Stan.
Yep.
Our armed services, we're lucky to have you. T. Hawkins is on.
T. Hawkins. I see Orbra in there. T. Hawkins.
Yeah, Orbra. And Timbo's on.
Timbo. And I seen Welch had made it in.
Made it. Said this is a long day, but they made it.
I was reading through the comments before Leno got in here. She had to go change her shirt, and she forgot that we film with the front of the camera now so I can see if I got any problems on the live stream.
I had my 4-H shirt on all day, and I was like, oh, this is lettering's going to be backwards. Because I told you, I was like, YouTube just gets what they get today because it's been a very full day for me. But I managed to change my shirt and put some earrings on.
Yeah, she's been holding a baby.
I know you all care about that so much.
She's been holding a baby now for what, an hour?
Yeah, the important things. I had Ivy Rain. She's sitting here, and she's a little mouth breather. She sleeps with her mouth wide open, so she's.
And I had to listen to the boys talk about SpongeBob for the last hour.
Yeah, well, that was funny stuff. We recapped a lot of their childhood stuff. And
Jeez.
some of it was the shows they watched, and it was SpongeBob episodes that we remembered, and it was a good evening. We had fun. I was happy to have all the kids here today.
And Will had said that I had bought 2 bicycles at some point in time and had them in the shed, and he seen them before I gave them to him. I was like, well, that's good stuff. If you found it before I gave it to you, that's good.
And he didn't say anything. Paul Ford is on.
Hey, Paul Ford.
And he says, good evening. Could someone please stop the rain?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, we wish we could, Paul. I know days like that are kind of rough, you know, when it rains and rains. And it's still really wet here, even though we haven't had moisture since it snowed. But the snow in front of the house is melting very slow because it's shaded. But the next couple days it should
it's
knock it out.
65 degrees today and it's still ice.
Well, and it's because it gets still really cold at night, and it takes, all day to get to 60, and then it's in the shade. Cajun Homestead is on.
Hey, Cajun Homestead.
And Welch Farms, I think you already said hello to them.
Welch Farms.
And Joseph Lott is on.
Hello, Joseph Lott.
And Avery is on.
Hey, Avery.
IP Farms.
IP Farms. Hey, Nelson.
This is good evening to you both.
Nelson, I watched your video, man. I hate you had to do that, but it is what it is. And you seem to be blessed with still quite a few tractors, but I do have to admit I had a liking to that Alice Chamel. But I understand Alice has got a roll. Sounds like it's going to a guy that's going to appreciate it probably more than me and you. So that's a pretty good deal there, buddy.
I'm drinking the other half of the Starbucks.
Yeah.
Joey brought me home Starbucks today, so I drank a little bit when he brought it home, and I saved the rest for now because I'm glad I did. I knew I'd need a little pick-me-up. Let's see who else is on.
I mentioned it to Stan, and he said, you stopped and got her a coffee? I said, no, it's a craft coffee. It's not just a
a black coffee, yeah. Because I'm pretty sure he drinks his just black.
Yeah, I told him, I said, it's a craft coffee, Stan.
It's so much more than a coffee stand. John Briggs is on.
Hey, John Briggs.
And William May.
William May.
Roscoe Morris.
Roscoe Morris.
Jim Kaufman is on.
Hello, Mr. Kaufman.
Says, good evening, folks. How's the baby doing?
Well, we just seen her, Jim.
She's doing wonderful. She's eating good. She's just, of course, as beautiful as ever. She does this little thing where she scrunches her eyebrows up. Will says she's sassy. So she'll do her little eyebrows.
No, she's in pain.
She's not in pain.
Yes, she is.
Megan's got these adorable little headbands for her because, of course, she's a girl and a baby. So you want to put a headband on them so people don't think the baby's a boy because they don't know. at that age.
And she had skinny jeans on.
Oh yeah, she had her little Levi's on, skinny jean Levi's.
Yeah, can't do skinny jeans.
Oh yes, she can.
I told Megan, I said, Megan, I'm gonna need some bell bottoms on that girl.
Well, Megan has bell bottoms for her too. This is the best dressed baby because Megan's very stylish with all her outfits. So I knew Ivy Rain would just be just as stylish. But she wears the little headbands, and Joey thinks they're tight, and they're not.
They are tight.
They're not. I put my finger right under it, and they're just so loose. But anyway.
I've wore headbands for lights before, and after about 30 minutes, they give you a headache. So I know they're giving her a headache.
Avery says, put the baby on the live.
Put the baby.
We would if she's here. Eventually, I'm sure she will be.
Yeah, she'll show up one day.
Yeah, one Monday I'll see if they're close to around 8. I'll go, well, y'all gotta stay so everybody can say hey to Ivy. Allison's on.
Hello, Allison.
Allison says, hey, I'm watching, but Duke is sleeping. He ate a whole chocolate pie while we were at church yesterday.
Nothing wrong with that. I don't blame him.
He's been running wild ever since he's finally crashed.
Oh, gosh.
Duke. I can't believe that's so funny, though. I could see him doing that. Ate their whole pie. Oh, Allison, thanks for the laugh. I know you've been dealing with a lot with him the past day.
Day or two.
Mm-hmm, because he's hyper. Michael Coleman's on.
Hey, Michael Coleman.
Said, just wanted to thank y'all for the carburetor help. I was able to find an antique tractor part place in Starts Draft, Virginia, and took him the old one, and he matched it up, running great now.
Yeah. Since you mentioned that, Michael, I mentioned on my last video about Mike Duffield Equipment. I'm sure he's got more than just plow points, but is a good source for plow points. And we know, guys, how hard they are getting to find. And he's fair and reasonable about his price. But then Moore's Farmall put up a video, and it looks like it's in Nashville, North Carolina, I believe, where we stopped at the Waffle House. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I seen it say Nashville, North Carolina. A fellow down there is, you'd have to watch Moore's Farmall's video, but he's got Farmall parts too. So, between us talking and sharing lives and stuff like that, we can get a kind of a group, we can find out where these places at. Somebody asked me, I don't know, it's a couple weeks ago, and I can't say it real good, but Brillman, 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 they make the most awesome wiring harnesses for these things. I bought one for my 140, and they do real good.
Martha Neal is on.
Martha Neal.
Hey, Martha. Janice is on.
Hey, Janice.
And Bart is on, Bart Sexton.
Hey, Bart. Where's Roger at, Janice?
Says, hey, y'all, we're still having a little bit of sleet left.
Oh, man.
Ew.
Is that Bart Sexton?
Mm-hmm.
Where's he at? I can't remember. I knew it, but I done forgot.
Bart, remind us, because we forgot.
Well, I did. Leno didn't.
Well, I did, or I'd remind you where it's from. Johnny Etchton's on.
Hello, Johnny.
Good evening from Johnston County. Hope all is well. Johnny, tell Jen thanks for the message the other night. Me and her had a little Bible trivia discussion about some things that we didn't realize, that we learned.
She sent that to you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was thinking, for some reason, I was thinking you was talking about a lady at the church.
Oh, no.
I didn't realize it was Johnny's wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paul is on, RailFan90.
Hello, Paul.
Hey, guys, managed to make it in this week before you said goodnight. Great, Paul. Thanks.
Yeah, Paul, they're going to have you driving a Cyber tractor-trailer truck in a couple of years. You'll be driving one of them electric ones.
Jay Pill is on.
Jay Pill from the motherland.
Good evening, all.
Yeah, Jay Pill, we had the president of France over here today, man. You better get your guy over here talking to Trump. We had Macron over here.
And also, Joey's been watching Doctor Who for all day yesterday almost.
Well, no, it's in the evening.
Who's the doctor?
Oh, it was Tom Baker.
Tom Baker. It was an old one.
Yeah, it was an old one, Jay Pill.
Larry Terrell is on.
Hello, Larry Terrell.
Hi from Rockingham County. And Jim Bowman is on.
Jim Bowman.
Hello from Jim and Linda. Enjoyed your and Sammy's visit at our farm.
I did too, Jim. That was a wonderful, wonderful visit.
Yeah, and Jim, sorry I couldn't tag along Saturday. I had some work deployment going on that I had to test.
That
and
it
was
still
like,
crashed.
Right, I felt like I worked at SpaceX. It was a whole ordeal, but I had to test that Saturday, so which isn't often, but it just happened to be Saturday.
Jim, I sprayed that hopper down. We're gonna see what we can
And it did not
loosen her up a
crash.
little bit.
Don't say that in case any of my
yeah.
coworkers are watching. It did not crash. It was a success. Mark Phelps is on.
Hey, Mark Phelps.
Good evening. Stopped by Burch Bridge Tractor today, like a kid in a candy store, getting ready for garden season.
Yeah, there was a guy at the apartment complex today when I was putting in a fire system. We were talking about stuff and tractors, and he mentioned it. He's like, I just didn't realize that place was so big. And I said, yeah, Brandon told me he had enough parts to last him the rest of his life selling them. So, yeah, he's got a lot of parts over there. But there's some things he's short on. There's some things that are just, you know, everybody's got to have it kind of part that he's a little short on. I told him that's the parts that he needs to get remade new.
Bart is Goldsboro.
Goldsboro.
Yeah, I mean.
And it's sleeting in Goldsboro now?
He said he's got some left over. It may be in the shade.
Oh,
and, you know, like the same problem we're having.
Okay.
Is it's not melting.
Guys will say it's 65 degrees here today. I see what he's saying now.
Grain pressure is on from Good Morning from Australia.
What's his name?
Graham.
Hey, Graham.
We're going to call it Graham. It's spelled Graeme.
Okay.
So I want to say Graham, but it may be Graham. It's pronounced Graham.
Well, we are glad to have you.
Greg Mosier is on.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Joey and Lino and everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I enjoyed your video with the 300. God bless.
Thank you, thank you. I took the plow off today, guys. I didn't film it or anything. I needed to put the chisel plow back on because that's the first thing I'm going to use. And I ain't quite ready to sink that thing in the ground yet, I don't think. But I did think I might take it up Rogers because I plowed some with the 300 up there just to try his two-bottom Ford plow out. But I didn't plow his garden all the way to the end. I left about 2 rounds. And I may take it up there for that, and is what we may end up doing.
Jen said, thanks for the help. Jen Edgerson. Yeah, because Joey had to tell me one part of that, Jen, because I didn't even know who is it? Methuselah? Yeah, I was like, is that one of David's sons?
No.
I mean, I was thinking about the other one, David's son who was crippled.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
I was getting those names mixed up.
Methuselah is famous for being the oldest person ever lived. Mm-hmm. Which, Adam didn't miss it by far. Mm-hmm. Methuselah was like maybe 9 or 10 years more or something like that.
Timbo says, Messick's is a great parts place online.
Agree, yep.
Double Portion Farms is on.
Hello, Double Portions.
Hey, everybody from Alabama.
Alabama.
And I think Alabama needs to be on the watch for severe weather.
Next week, yeah.
Thunderstorm, tornado, that kind of thing.
It could spread up this way, too.
Yeah, because I always know Alabama is, kind of a hot spot for that.
It seems like here lately, Alabama and Mississippi and that kind of area right in there, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. What's that? You always hear about the tornadoes out west. Mm-hmm. Where they go chase them out there.
Yeah, it's not the Rust Belt, is it?
Wherever it's at. It seems to me like Alabama and Mississippi, that area there is catching up with them quick, boy, because they have a lot of bad storms here lately. Mm-hmm.
Janice says, I told him time to watch. I call your program our date night. Oh, Janice, you should really.
Lena says you should get a better date night. That's what she wants to say.
You need to up your expectations, Janice. No, but I'm glad she does watch us. I love having her on.
She's just saying that if it were me and her doing a date night, she's going to want me to take her out.
I feel like we're not date night material. Haggy Farms is on.
Hello, Haggy Farms.
Says, hi, Joey and Lino. And Avery says, I found an international toolbar that I'm going to weld a prong on for the 140 in our pig parlor.
All right.
And Ricky Eads is on.
Hey, Ricky.
Good evening. My friend, 60 degrees today here in Tennessee, got me thinking about my plant beds. I know this week for a lot of our viewers in the states surrounding us, it's like, I'm going to have to tell you all to control yourselves because this week's going to really make you want to plant or...
Well, you do know I planted some stuff
yes,
today.
I know.
Okay.
But we really need to put the brakes on.
I still have some to plant, and we'll film that too. I didn't film what I did today because I knew I wouldn't finish it, but I lost 94.5% of my onions that I planted this past fall. I went out there today and looked at them. I hadn't looked at them, and I had bought some bulbs the other day from my local country store, Corbett Ridge Grocery, and nice onion bulbs. And I planted them, but I need about 25 more bulbs to finish the row out because I lost about the whole row. I think I seen 4 onions that were still alive and the rest of them had died. Now, I don't know if it was from cold weather, which I don't think it was, but I think my problem was, and I've said this before in the videos, when I planted those things, I didn't put water to them quick enough. I planted them in, I don't know, late October, and it was dry there for about 3 weeks, and I just assumed it had enough moisture in the ground, and it didn't. So I think that's probably what killed them more than anything.
William May said it's called a tornado belt.
Tornado belt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, William. J. Peel says, I'm afraid our prime minister is not worth listening to, so President Trump isn't missing much.
I ain't gonna get into that because I'll be honest with you, J. Peel, them folks feel like that they can go to another country and get you for saying something about them. So we won't say nothing about them.
Right. We don't want anything to...
I'd hate for them to come over here for a bunch of rednecks. It's just not a good idea.
Elliot Lindsay's on.
Hey, Elliot Lindsay.
Says, finally made it. Good evening, Jtwes and crew. Speaking of crew, we did have a big day for Sam today.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't know if he wants to come in here and show. I think he's on the phone.
He's on the phone.
He's on the phone.
He got his braces off.
Yeah, he got his braces off, and they look so good. But he's been driving himself and snuck in that he got retainers that are the Invisalign retainers. When Will have braces, I had them put a permanent retainer, which is on the back of the teeth. And so Sam snuck one over on me and said, no, he'll do the Invisalign retainer. And those they're like $400, and they're easily lost or damaged.
Oh, but he knows the deal with that.
Yeah, we said if anything happens to the retainers, his phone's coming with us.
If he loses his retainer, he loses his phone.
Yeah. So we really need to put a clause in there too that if he's not wearing it,
he loses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he has to wear them for a week right now.
Or I get a hold to it and set a few programs on it and it gets locked down.
Yeah. Well, he needs to wear his Invisalign retainers for a week, and then after that he can wear them just overnight. So let's hope that works. But they look wonderful. They look like they're worth $5,000.
I think he was chewing just fine.
Joe is like, no, I like when the kids would bite into their cheese, or I think it was Sammy who bit into the butter one time, a stick of butter, and those teeth are all like...
I could tell who it was from the teeth mark.
Right, because we knew who had really crooked teeth. But Sammy biting the butter is a whole nother story, and that's a long time ago. Paul says, I didn't lose a single onion here, never got around to planting any. Oh, hey.
Well, that's one way to do it.
Yeah,
we're going to have some onions. They just won't be those winter onions, or short day onions, I guess they are.
Warstead says, hello, everyone. Happy almost spring.
Yes, but don't what? I feel like we got one more cold snap that's going to risk bringing some snow, I bet you.
Yeah, and March, comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. So usually about the second week of March, we get a cold, and it's really windy and it's cold.
I will say that looking at my cover crop over here for the sweet corn, And I was getting a little itchy on that thing today. It's starting to get real thick, and you know, guys, I'm worried about it not disking up good enough for me to plant it. And as soon as I'm gonna let it get to March, but the first day in March that it's dry enough for me to chisel plow that, I am going through that cover crop.
Bart said, I planted bulbs back around the time you and Danny planted them. Mine are doing good, and the garlic. Need to fertilize them so they can jump.
Yeah, like I said, Bart, I'm pretty sure that my lack of water killed mine, and it wasn't like freezing temperatures or anything. My onion slips that I had bought.
So after the onions, what would you plant next?
Potatoes.
Okay.
And probably getting close, if you're a carrot planter, you could plant some carrots and getting, I mean, you probably could squeeze some broccoli and cabbage in the ground here pretty soon, next couple of weeks. But I'm not going to plant no broccoli because, I mean, I end up spending $60, $70 on broccoli slips, and the deer eat half, or, I mean, it's just,
Well, and I still have some frozen broccoli from
last year, yeah.
And I forgot, and then I bought store-bought broccoli. So
yeah,
I
it's
forgot
just not worth it right now because it's a lot of money. Because I'd have to put that electric fence back up, and I really don't want to do it until I plant the sweet potatoes.
Bart says, poor Sammy, LOL. Avery said, I have 60 onion sets and 8 pounds of potatoes to plant.
Good gracious, Avery.
Man, I've been getting these potatoes from Food Line, and I don't know what distributor they're using, but they are the nicest potatoes. They're russet, my favorite, and they are giant. They're like every potato is a baking potato. They're a whole bag of them, and they've been pretty decent priced.
Good.
Good price, and I made baked potatoes the other night with those steaks you made, and they were so good. They're so fluffy, and it was really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try some of these. I wonder, guys, if you can plant just a vine of a potato, because I think you can. Seems like I've done it before. My potatoes under the house here, they're, you know, about that big around, but they got a little vine on it that tall. And I just thought to myself, I wonder if you could cut that vine off the potato and plant just that vine, and that produce potatoes.
Paul said, seems like there's always a cold snap around my birthday. Nothing like waking up cold with an hour less sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. And Elliot's is the same. He's March 4th. And I remember when I was due to have him, we had an ice storm. And I was past my due date because I was due in February. He just took forever to be born. And there was an ice storm, so I was so worried I was going to go into labor during that ice storm. But that would have been like right at early March. Warstead says, we're looking at an early spring here in southern Missouri. I have done a beehive inspection today, and we have capped bee brood.
Capped bee brood?
I'd
like to have
something to do with the process of honey.
I'd love to have a beehive. I'm a little bit worried too with Lino around here, but it'd be nice. I'd like to have just one, just enough for a couple, 3 jars of honey a year.
Bart said, it's supposed to be 70 here in Goldsboro for the next 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Then up and down. And yes, Mark on Weatherman Plus said we had 2 more cold fronts. Janice said, I lived in Alabama called Tornado Alley back 25 years ago. Yeah, Tornado Alley. That's what I was thinking of. And
but I thought that was more out west, like, you know, west.
You mean like,
I don't
I
know,
don't
like,
think they have tornadoes out
like
west.
Wisconsin or something. I don't know. Maybe it was.
In like Oklahoma, Kansas.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Oklahoma.
I think that's part of the alley, Tornado Alley. It's
Okay.
like the mid to the little bit of the east.
Because it seems like you see the storm chasers out in Oklahoma.
Yeah, they go in the big, because there's no trees and the land is so flat that tornadoes really get ramped up there because there's nothing to slow it down.
That's what I always envision when, you know, people talk about Tornado Alley. I've always envisioned those out west things.
Yeah. Jay Lancaster is on.
Hey, Jay Lancaster.
My wife says you can definitely root a sweet potato vine.
Yeah, I know the sweet potatoes vine, but these are my golden.
Yukon Gold?
Yeah, Yukon Gold potatoes that I raised last year. I have, I don't know, probably a good dozen or so under the house, or maybe even more than that. Maybe it's 20 of them under the house that have sprouted these long sprouts about that long. And I'm hoping they'll hold until we can plant them. But I was thinking to myself, I wonder if you can just plant the sprout just in case it sucks all the juice out of the potato before I can get them in the ground. I feel like you could. I feel like you could curl them up in a little ball, put them in there, and cover them up with dirt, and they'd grow. I feel like.
Bart says, I planted potatoes 1 year ago. They came up, and then I decided I wanted them somewhere else. So I dug them up and moved them. If they have a root on the vine, then yes, they will grow. Mine did.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. Good to keep in mind. Warstead says, we don't want Leno getting stung. I react pretty badly too.
Yeah, she does.
We'll send you some honey. So Warstead will send you some honey from
Well,
Missouri. Missouri honey.
Look at that, Missouri honey. I'll get me a resistance built up for some Missouri stuff.
Yeah, well, and speaking of resistance, I don't know. It's been very many years since I've been stung.
Yeah.
So I haven't even got my EpiPen refilled because I'm like, well, I'll just call an ambulance, you know.
Well, that may not. You probably need to get it filled.
Ambulances and fire trucks, they keep.
Well, you got an outdated one.
Well, I don't carry it with me.
Oh.
I don't even know where it's at. So. But it'll be fine. I may not even be allergic to anymore.
I told her she got.
I don't know, because those fire ants tore me up. I got bit, but remember last year I got bit by two fire ants, and my whole foot swelled up. So I don't know. I might still have a bad reaction to bees, because just two little fire ants. It wasn't even the big ones. It was the little ones.
Oh yeah, if the fire ants did that to you, yeah, you'll have it.
Yeah, they got me one on my toe and one towards the top of my foot, and my whole foot swelled up. And then where the bite was, stuff was coming out of them. It was disgusting. But, so yeah, that was just last year. So I don't know. I just don't react well with insects. Shane Jeans is on.
Hey, Shane.
Jay Pill says, we have had 60-degree weather last week, or this last week, our warmest spell since last October.
JPL's also where they don't have tornadoes or hurricanes.
Yeah. Stan says the big tornado states are Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Western Tennessee, and Kentucky.
Okay.
So Western Tennessee, we got to worry about Allison there.
Yeah, because I forgot that one side of western side of Kentucky has just tons of flatland, farmland, big farms out there. So I forget about that. I don't know. My mind, when I think of Kentucky, for some reason, I think like West Virginia, mountains.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you get used to. Like if you've ever been there, like I think of Kentucky as mountains because you're where your mom's from.
Yeah.
You know, and that may be why you think of it too.
Allison's side of Tennessee is pretty flat too.
Oh yeah, hers is very flat. That's why I said when we go there, I feel like it could be somewhere here because we've got plenty of places that are flat, especially when you go a little bit east. You know.
Yeah, because I seen where North Carolina said it was going to take 2 years to get a retaining wall built and to backfill that lane that got washed away on 40 to get a retaining wall built, get it backfilled with, they called it aggregate, I call it gravel, to get it backfilled with gravel, and said that they were working with the wildlife had a little bit of some rock, not maybe a half mile away from where it needed to aggregate, and trying to get the wildlife to let them take that rock out of the mountain for that to, I guess, bust it up probably. And the whole time,
you said walk.
Rock. And the whole time that they were filming this, they had all the people right there in the curve of where it's washed out at, had a big old wall of rock right there. And I was like, well, just take that. I mean, take that right there. I mean, I don't know why they got to go a half mile away. They got a whole mountain full of rock.
You just need to go up there and tell them how it should be done right. I mean, just let you go tell them.
Well, I know they said they cut through a lot of red tape, but they still got some red tape because there's enough rock in that creek bed that you could bust it up. I mean, but I don't know.
Joey's like, blast the mountain.
Well, it's just.
Tannerite.
Yeah.
It's cheaper. Avery has a question. Anyone have tips on how to and what you need to sandblast? Do you know anything about sandblasting?
Just air and sand and a nozzle to run it through.
You mean like, is it that thing where you put your hands through when you look through the glass?
You got that type, and then
Okay.
you have type. You have a type where you can put your, say, an implement on the ground right there, and you're feeding sand through one side of the nozzle and air through the other side of the nozzle, and they mix in the nozzle.
Oh, okay.
You don't reclaim that sand; it just goes away.
Wherever. Okay.
But it sandblasts what you're doing.
Okay.
But you got to have a pretty good compressor for that. I got one that will barely run a nail gun, so that puts me out.
Yeah. Bart says, I would plant the potatoes and give them about 2 weeks, then dig one up, and if they have a root, you can move them. Just break it off and plant it.
What? Yeah, I won't need to move them once I plant them. I'm just don't want to, I guess, waste it if it does plant. That's the thing.
Shane says, I thought Alabama was in what they call Dixie Alley as far as tornadoes go. I don't know. I haven't heard of Dixie Alley, but, you know, we don't know much about Alabama, so that could very well be, Shane. Paul says, I'm supposed to be up working on that I-40 project, just waiting on them to figure everything out.
Oh, Paul's going to be one? Paul, you tell them if they need some help, call me.
Yeah, Paul, let Joey do a ride along so you can go tell those guys how to do it the right way, please. Take him up there. You can deal with him for a while.
It's just 2 years, though. That's a long time for a curve.
I know, but that's a big, you got to make sure that thing's going to work for the next how many years?
It will. I told you all
It
you got to do.
I mean, that's a big infrastructure engineering
It ain't that
feat.
bad.
Yes, I think it is.
It's not the Hoover Dam.
Greg says, you're correct, Joey. You can plant vines and produce potatoes.
Thank you, Greg.
JPL says, yes, thankful we don't get those big tornadoes. We just get those summer dust devils, which are mostly harmless. And when I lived in Texas, I do remember, well, it wasn't dust devils, but it was the tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
They would get going like in a group, and it would be a whole, like, mass of them, and they would just be tumbling across. They get stuck on your house and
I'm gonna
everything.
give Farmall 59 some credit. I'm gonna probably do what he did. He planted his potatoes a lot deeper fur than I did, and I really think it made his potatoes just do a whole lot. I think it did a whole lot better